Hello and welcome. All right. I was a little bit late, but here we are. I need to. So for today, I was planning instead of last time that I just was watching the episode through my screen and showing my screen. I think it's a better experience if everybody just watch the episode on their own screen, and I will be just sharing my screen while I'm painting my own stuff and watching on a separate browser the episode. So I think that's gonna be best because of all the overlays and things that I have for the stream. It kind of cover parts of the screen, and it's not the best. So I think it's better after the countdown just finished. I think I will just go back to my computer screen, and it's better that everybody just watch the episode on their own browser, I think. So, all right, let me put this here. Because I will be continue at the same time. We'll be painting the Imperial Inquisitor, and for that I need to prepare for the recording, and I didn't have time to prepare everything. That's why I was a little bit late. Demosi, hey guys, hello, welcome to the stream. Tasty Madogo, hello, how are you doing? Welcome. All right, so yes, and yes. All right. So now I can change to my Photoshop. Yeah, there you go. All right. So so yes, today it's the release of the third episode of my tutorial of how to paint and draw Space Marines. And very excited because today's episode subject is one that I love, and is portraits. So it's everything about how to all the things to take into account and how to make them as believable and give them as much personality as possible instead of making it just a standard generic space marine. So that's what it's the whole episode focused about. Um, I think I haven't got any bad reactions so far with any of the content of the tutorial, even though I thought it was some things could be a little bit controversial. Controversial in a geek way, right? uh, about how people interpret these characters, etc., etc. And I think today there is a chapter on the episode that might be a little bit controversial. It shouldn't be, but it might be. We'll see. We'll not give any spoilers, but you know how silly the internet is, and you never know. So there shouldn't be any any how do you say controversy, but I fear that there might be some. But yeah, we'll see. Uh, Vignesh, hello, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Demon, seriously, your name it's quite difficult to say. Menose, I will just let it there. Okay, I hope that you don't mind. All episodes are being great. Well, I'm very happy to hear. Um, Yeah, means a lot. As I have repeated so many times, it's been such a long time and so much work that yeah, it feels great to hear that. But at the same time, I'm more, and I keep saying this, but it's for real. I'm also very much open for constructive criticism and feedback as well. If there is something that you think it's not fine, or I don't know, whatever. But yeah, regardless, thanks a lot for sharing your opinion, and makes me even more happy to hear that it's on a positive note. So, may I ask, so far, what is it that you find the most challenging about painting or drawing space marines? In your opinion, what is the aspect that you struggle the most? Um, I have personally, and then I can share what I think it's the most difficult in my experience. But Genaro, hey, welcome, welcome. All right. So on the meanwhile, I will be painting this Imperial Inquisitor that I've been painting through the past live streams. I mean, it's not too much on the subject of the stream, right? Which is Space Marines, but yeah, what the heck? That's what it is, and yeah. I also should prepare a tab with the other video. Let's see. Mm-mm-mm. All right, so it's in 15 minutes. Perfect. So again, my plan is since the experience of the first episode, which I did a live stream as well, is that since I have all these overlays and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass just to change everything, I will not be showing the episode on my screen on the live stream. So I think it's better that if everybody can just open their own and everybody can watch separately, but sharing the stream. So I will be watching and I will be painting, and maybe do some comments along the way, but with the tutorial on the side. So you will have to open your own, if that makes sense. um, Menosi, I think finding a balance in the pose is quite difficult. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But do you think that that comes because of the volumes of the armor? Because I think that's, in my humble opinion, I think that's where the trick is. Uh, um, Genaro, finding the right references that have great personalities in a timely manner. Ref gathering for me somehow takes hours. And you think that's the most challenging part? Well, good for you. But I agree. I mean, and I think that's not I don't know if you are saying this as a problem or something, because I think that reference gathering and overall research time is of vital importance, and it's actually very positive and good that it takes that long, to be honest. I will be weary if you just put together some references in 1 hour and that's it. I think it's in this day and age where it seems that everything needs to be very, very fast. I think it's very valuable to spend some quality time and really to explore, to think, to gather references about the subject that you are going to be doing. So I think that's a very positive thing, to be honest. And that my research and reference gathering also takes normally a very, very long time as well. So and sometimes even days. So yeah. Gonzalo, buenas, buenas, muy buenas. Bienvenido al stream. Welcome to the stream. Tasty McDogo. Viewpoint. I reckon that choosing from what point to draw a space marine is more difficult than the pose or proportions. I will also say it's a composition issue. Yes, definitely. I would agree that it's a composition issue. Which I would extend on that it becomes it's a composition issue that is driven by the technical challenge of pose and proportions and volumes and doing them right. You know, that's I only know to paint a space marine or just from this angle that kind of blocks you and limit you to some certain type of compositions, etc., etc. Or yeah, I don't know. Tasty my dog. I'm sorry, but what is the main source of light on this Inquisitor painting? It's just quite confusing. That's all. Well, what is this? What do you mean? What is? I mean, in terms of something that actually makes sense. Well, I don't know. The the light source comes from somewhere around here, a little bit from above and behind. And then there will be light coming from here from the pistol, but that's still not shown on the character. But yeah, you could say that it's a little bit how they do these icons for lighting. Something like this. If you understand what I mean by this icon, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's an abstract background at the moment, and it's not that much defined anyway. But yeah, it's a main source of light coming from there. But what do you mean? I find I'm very curious. What do you mean by confusing? Can you iterate a little bit more in detail? Genaro, how do clients feel about taking days to gather refs? Well, I don't know, but that's part of the process. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm how do you say, if I'm doing some work for a client, right, and they ask me, okay, so how long is this gonna take, and I say it's gonna take from let's say 10 days. Yeah, completely abstract example. On those 10 days, I'm including the research if I need to do research, or ref gathering. Yeah, sometimes it's not needed, right? Because it's very straightforward. And but for the most cases, I will always spend a minimum, at the very least, a minimum of time doing research and gathering references. And and it shouldn't be an issue, because that time that you are being hired for, it doesn't mean that you from first second you have to be just using your painting or drawing or sketching. It doesn't matter. What's the only parameter that should matter is the result, right? If you, at the end of the day of the contract or the deadline that you are supposed to have, you deliver whatever you are supposed to deliver, an illustration or a design or etc., etc. So what you do in the middle and how you do it, it shouldn't matter that much. Of course, then it's a matter of communication, right? So it is good, and managing expectations. So it is a good thing to advise, for example, like, all right, so maybe today and tomorrow I will be most likely doing research and gathering references, etc., etc. So don't expect me to show you anything after those 2 days, for instance. So yeah. All right, let's see how long. So 6 minutes left. Dun, 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 dun. So for me, I can share what I think is the most difficult aspect of Space Marines, or it's overall is the combination of the three main issues, you could say, which is proportions, volumes, and poses. And poses, because it's you need to deal with these two previous ones to do a good pose. And I'm saying that because I tend to be very scrupulous when it comes to those things, and regardless that I make plenty of errors, and I discover some of them after the fact. But still, I'm very scrupulous with it, and I find every single time that I'm making Space Marines that is extremely, extremely, extremely easy to make errors. A good example of what I mean is with this Inquisitor. I mean, even though it's not a Space Marine, but I mean, it has some sort of armor that is supposed to be a power armor. It's not a Space Marine power armor, but still. So it shared this type of some of these problems, right? Not so much in proportions, but in terms of perspective and the solidity of the volumes and shapes. So previously to how the necklace was displayed, I don't think I have a copy, but it was a very subtle difference, but it wasn't as it is now. And it wasn't until somebody from the chat that mentioned it is like, hey, isn't it there's something wrong there? And after looking more closely, it's like, oh shit, it is true. The perspective doesn't add up. It should be, it is not correct. So it was a little bit more. I mean, the perspective was slightly skewed, right? So it was something more. Was something more like this. Maybe not so much exaggerated, but still it was wrong. And the same thing with this part here, which actually is still is not correct now that I look at it. So if you want to do a very correct and solid, have a very solid foundation when it comes to the pose dictated by the volumes and perspective. You need to be so careful, and it's so easy to make mistakes. And also because of the process, maybe you start with some basic volumes that work, and throughout the process, because you start adding some details, things start to skew away from that foundation, and then the result is that something that is actually not working. And that's something very extremely common with Space Marine characters representations, and I'm the first one to fall into those traps. So, 2 minutes. Juan Toledano, hello. Well, the one and only Juan Toledano. A round of applause for Juan, because he's one of the people that made possible to have subtitles in Spanish. So yeah, round of applause for Juan. Yes, you are the best, man. Let's see, tasty. There is light on one of the shoulder pads, and another is on complete shadow. It would make sense if the light source was from the pistol shooting. Yes, but take it. Yeah. I mean, it's both. So that's what I meant. That there is a main source of light that comes from here, but then it's a mix also as well from the pistol. So think about that. Since the shoulder is slightly putting up, and it is not exactly on a straight axe, it is, and also you have to I mean, that's what I mean, that is completely work in progress. So there's plenty of things, aspects with the lighting that is not set yet. So for example, the face here will be a little bit covered as well by the shadow. So yes. So you could see that maybe it is not as much from this angle as I just said then, but a little bit more like this, perhaps. Ooh. Okay, that sound is the countdown. All right, so 2 minutes. So yeah, for those of you that just joined the stream, my thoughts for it was to watch everybody just the episode on your own separate browser, and I will do the same because of all the overlays and everything. So while the episode it's playing, I will be since I know by heart the episode, so I don't need to be watching it all. But I will be painting at the same time, and I will be showing you me painting this, and I will be commenting or answering some questions if you have while the episode is running. All right. So yeah. All right. So less than 1 minute. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Exciting. Tasty. I'm not an expert. It's just an educated opinion, as I have so much to learn. Well, I mean, that's why we are here, and it's good to Yeah, this is a open conversation, and I'm more than glad to have these discussions. And I'm all the time open for um, feedback of all kinds. So it's all good. All right, it's starting. 2, 1. There you go. All right. Hello, my name is Miguel Iglesias. I am a professional illustrator and concept artist, and I have been working in the entertainment industry with games, films, animation, and TV series for over 20 years now. Working for many different clients, like these ones among many others, doing this kind of work. But if you are here, you and the universe of Warhammer 40,000. I am delighted to welcome. Yeah, yeah. Just muted right now. Hello, R. Zagornov. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Genaro, how long is the tutorial? I think it is around 45 minutes long. So it's a long tutorial. So yeah, when I meant that it was a lot of work, I really meant it. Munching Bicep, glad to catch these. Hello everyone. Hello, welcome to the stream. So yeah, the tutorial just started. So we are all watching it on a separate browser while I'm painting, and I will be more than happy to answer questions along the way. Munchin, just wondering, do you ever implement a 3D base to work from which tricky compositions or perspectives? No, I don't. I mean, in very few cases I have, but no, normally I don't. But if it's for some environment, concept art, and and some specific parameters, I have used, given by the 3D artists or the level designers. But yeah, normally I don't. And and just for environments, if it happens. No problem, man. That's why I'm here for. How did you start working with Games Workshop? Did you approach them, or did you get picked up by the rather sort of thing? Yeah, they contacted me. Um, so yeah, I was lucky in that regard. I think this part of the episode it's pretty cool. Um, um, Munching. To be honest, I don't know. I don't think they ever mentioned anything in particular. So actually, I have actually no idea. Um, Regarding the coloring, the black and white base or doing colors from scratch, it greatly depends of what I try to achieve with the image. Um, so yeah, it depends. If yeah, so that's kind of what leads me to do one way or another. So the process is dictated by the goals that I have, not the other way around. Uh, so in this case, I am doing just black and white because I wanted to. Um, I want to keep it in black and white because of I want to keep the mood of the grim dark to highlight that aspect from an aesthetic point of view, and of course not having colors helps. So yeah.
Asator, Miguel, siempre he tenido la duda. ¿Un dibujo tuyo de Tiranidos en Macragge salió en la contraportada de un White Dwarf?
Wow. Sí.
Hace 800.000 millones de años. Sí. Sí, sí. Yes. Yeah, the question there, he's asking me if there was a painting of Tyranids attacking Macragge in the back cover of a White Dwarf, and a very, 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 very long time. And yes, that was the case. It was for a competition for the how was it called by then? Those events, the Golden Demon in Barcelona. I can't remember what year. It was the first time they were doing an illustration competition. And I couldn't attend the event, so I just sent it by mail. But yeah, I'm quite astonished that you that you know about that, or that you remember that. I actually have that painting somewhere around. It's quite bad, but yeah, it was a long time ago. So that painting back then wasn't super awesome. No, it wasn't. Uh, but nevertheless, I immediately knew that they were gonna be a great artist. Well, thank you, thank you. I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, it's a natural thing. I mean, nobody starts painting great. We all start from the bottom and start slowly going up, right, in skills. So yeah, I will have to share that one sometime. I think it's a cool thing to show. But I'm quite curious, Asathor, how do you know about it? I mean, because we are talking about more than 20 years ago, or something like that. Tasty. No, I don't think it's a waste of time whatsoever. Not at all. It all depends on how much you need to practice in terms of at what level you are. But no, I think it is as useful exercise for sure, because it forces you to be very analytical and to keep to the very essential of what type of values. So yeah, I think it's a very useful exercise. As a Thor, but all right, as a Thor, but can you explain? I mean, I'm just very curious. Can you explain to me how is it possible that you still remember that shitty illustration on the back of the White Dwarf until now? Uh, I mean, I'm shocked. You are the very first person to mention that. I thought it was gonna be kept secret for eternity. Uh, I mean, to be honest, the reproduction they did for the White Dwarf was pretty bad as well. The colors were completely wrong, and yeah, the reproduction wasn't the best, all considered. I mean, it wasn't the best illustration ever, but it was, yeah. The reproduction made it even worse. All right. Yeah, yeah. I have to dig around, but yeah, I as I said, I think it's actually a pretty cool thing to show how shitty you can paint, and that yeah, uh, still you can move forward with time and effort. So yeah, I will definitely do, but I first need to find it. I was very frustrated by the fact that I couldn't go to the event itself. But I still have the prize of the painting of Karl Kopinski, signed and with a sketch on it on my wall, just right there. As I thought, well, thanks a lot, man. Much appreciated. Uh, yeah, I mean, Carl, he's an absolute beast. What can I say?
He's just ridiculously good. Yes, check my Patreon, please. So you can be part of the awesome development and creation of my personal project and IP, science fiction universe driven by the theme of space pirates called the Brethren of the Clouds. And if you are here, I am assuming that everybody is a big fan of Warhammer 40,000. If you like Warhammer 40,000, you will like this project, I promise. Genaro, not sure if you have talked about this, but where do you find your references for such strong character expressions? Um, well, just spend quite some time trying to build a good library. So from everywhere, um, I have the visits of the doggies here. So yeah, I made plenty of my own, and I'm constantly on the lookout for things that I find useful or inspiring, including characters. So yes.
Genaro. Yes, I do. But it's not only about references, but it's also about studying and having a deep understanding of human anatomy, and in this case, of the face and expressions, and yeah. So plenty of times. With certain expressions, it's just me putting myself in front of a mirror and just making the gestures and stuff to understand what's really going on with the face. Uh, so you cannot be relying only in one thing. It's a mix of plenty of stuff. Uh, and and having a very mm, analytical eye and mind when looking at things, in this case faces and expressions, is just to understand, okay, what type of um, what's going on the face when there's this type of expression, and why do I feel this way, how do why do I read this face expression in the way I do. So you know, reading exactly what's happening with the features of the face and how they change, they stretch, they stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter how, no matter how great references you have, if you still don't have a deep understanding of these things, it's not gonna, yeah, it's not gonna help. All right, here comes the topic that I mentioned before, that some people might take it as something controversial, even though I think it shouldn't be. But yeah, we'll be very glad to hear what you think afterwards. All right, that was it. 50 minutes long, more or less. Uh, du- 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 du. Let's put our fireplace as usual in the stream now that the episode is finished. So, all right. Um, I'm very, 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 very curious about hearing your thoughts about this chapter regarding diversity, showing diversity for the Space Marines. If you think it's anything controversial at all or not. I'm of the opinion that it's not. But yeah, I'm just curious to hear what you think, and if you agree with my statement in that regard as well. Uh, and of course, I think it is important for me just to mention it, just in case. But if you like what I do, and you want to support me, then I would encourage you to go and check my Patreon page and consider being a Patreon, so you can help me out to work on my very, very, very cool projects, science fiction project, very grim, dark, very gritty, about space pirates. And of course, that will also free more time for me just to do more content for the YouTube channel as well, of course. Um, and especially content of this kind, which takes forever. I mean, yeah, like I mentioned on the videos themselves, they have taken me this tutorial series like a year and a half, so it's quite a long time. Right, I will be staying until 10 minutes more, and then I will have to close the shop because I have to take the dogs for a walk. Um, so thanks everybody for joining today's stream and joining on watching the third episode of my tutorial series about how to paint and draw Space Marines. There is still one episode left, and yeah, it will be the end of the story. Well, perhaps maybe there can be some extra episodes on the future, but yeah, who knows? Maybe about Terminator armor, Space Marines.
I shouldn't be bogged down with details at this point, to be honest. But it's so difficult to to stay away from that. But he should be filled with parchments and all type of sacred scriptures carved and hanging all over his armor, since he's supposed to be a Puritan inquisitor. All right. I think it's time for me just to leave it here. Once again, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. It's been a blast. And yeah, we'll continue working with these lovely and not bloodthirsty at all and mad Imperial Inquisitor next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central European Time. So have a good one. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Stay safe. Paint and draw a lot and have fun doing it. And see you during the normal stream of each week. Bye bye. Take care.